Explain like I'm 5. Why is English the worldwide language of communication? The era of the British Empire saw English being spread throughout Asia and Africa due to English colonies. They weren't, for the most part, going to learn the local languages. So they simply had the locals learn English. Then, the American era began after World War II and they sort of reinforced that. As everyone has said, empire. But more than that, it's a universal language now. Majority of the world can either speak it or at least understand it. I asked a Swede one time and he said that the reason they learn it now is because no one else speaks Swedish. Everyone speaks English. If they don't learn English, they can talk to other Swedish people and that's about it. Is all computer software coding done in English? For example, can you code in Arabic or a non-Western alphabet for that matter? According to my mother, in the 50s in Italy the international diplomatic language was French, not English, and that's what she studied in school. What changed from that time frame is NATO and the construction of a global market that trade in US dollars. The softer counterparts to these military and economic developments are the establishment of Hollywood, and English is everyone's culture and language. Latin was once the de facto world language of Europe and the Middle East. Under the Roman Empire, and even after its fall, French became the de facto world language of Europe and the Middle East. When France was the most powerful nation in the region, the British Empire was long-lasting and far-reaching. It became less so post-WW2, but the economic and military influence of the USA came in immediately behind. So English is the de facto world language. Some languages have come to dominate fields at different times in history. Old Greek is still the language of botany and to some degree pharma. Latin for biology. German the language of chemistry, and French and Italian that of food and music. The lingua franca of aviation and computer science is English because of those technologies taking root in an era when English is dominant. Also add the advantage of having an alphabet-based language in the world of computers. It would be physically impossible to have a Chinese keyboard consisting of all the Chinese characters. So their input has to be in an alphabet-based system. Usually I've seen QWERTY keyboards there. It is now. It's what we call lingua franca. It has been French once, and Latin before that. First the British, then Americans have dominated international trade for centuries. If you wanted to do business with either, it greatly helps if you learn to speak English. That is how English became the language of international business. The historical reasons are significant, but the Internet being based around the United States technological advancements also means that most of the early content on the Internet was in English. This stayed for a while until it was eventually opened up. And since there were English language resources already, most people opted to go for English due to the nature of communication on the Internet. Britain dominated until WW2 time, where American culture swept over the world from movies, music, fashion, language, basically everything. Great Britain won a cultural victory in the latter half of the 19th century, and the United States did likewise through most of the 20th. Because of British conquest also, American media is consumed more than any other media in the world, which is in English. I've lived across Europe and Asia and saw this to be true. Hail Britannia! Britannia rules the waves. When you control and protect global commerce, which was at time entirely maritime, you kinda get to call the shots. Personally, I blame the Vikings for this. I imagine it is because England literally ruled most of the entire world for over 400 years. Y'all forgot one more thing. Every single communication breakthrough, all the way up to the internet, was invented in English-speaking countries. Like many things in global geopolitics, the fault of the British. Also, English happens to be really simple to learn as a second language. British when they were out conquering, but in modern times. America. IIRC English speakers accounts for like 12% of the world's language. Large geopolitical sphere of influence. C. British Empire. https en.m.wikipedia.org/wiki/British_empire. There was a saying that sun never set on the British Empire. The meaning was that no matter where the sun was on the globe, there was a British colony. England had colonies in North America, Africa, Asia, and their shipping routes brought English trading ships to every major port in the world. The United States has also picked up where the British Empire left off. Most other world languages have been spread by a single empire. French, Russian, Spanish etc. English has had two world empires spread it throughout its history. Don't forget to share, like and subscribe for more content.